Hello friends, this is the InStyle Knitting Studio. Today we will find out what a yarn over is, what types of yarn overs exist, and how they are worked. A yarn over is a very simple knitting technique that is needed when adding stitches, when making buttonholes, and in creating lace patterns. There are some nuances to using it. Let's look at 3 types of yarn overs. The first type of yarn over is the regular or forward yarn over. For clarity, I knitted several rows of stockinette stitch. Now, in the next row, while working the knit stitches, I will knit using the grandmother's method. Let's make 2 yarn overs. I will make one at the beginning. Let's say, here we will make a yarn over. How do you make a yarn over? You lay the working yarn over the right needle from the top. The needle comes toward you, and this yarn over is called toward you. The yarn moves away from you to there. Next, we knit the regular knit stitches. Let's make the second yarn over at the end of the row. We will understand why a bit later. Again, we will make the same yarn over. Next, we knit the regular pattern. I will knit the last one using the grandmother's method of purling. Now let's turn the knitting and see how our yarn overs are worked from the other side in the next row. We'll get to our first yarn over. Here, I will knit using the grandmother's method of purling. We can see that this is our yarn over. A yarn over can be worked in 2 ways. You can knit it through the front leg. Then we get a new stitch and a hole. Or you can knit it through the back leg. Let's knit it through the front leg this time. That is, the regular and the purl through the front leg. It is very easy to knit and form a hole. We will knit a little and then see how these yarn overs differ, worked in different ways. Here's our next yarn over that I will knit through the back loop. It is very awkward. This results in a twisted stitch. So, by catching the back loop, we knit a purl stitch. I will knit several rows of stockinette stitch so that the front loop creates a hole. To compare our yarn overs, it is immediately clear there is a hole. This is our yarn over that we knitted through the front loop. And here we see an additional stitch being added. This is our second yarn over that we knitted through the back loop when knitting a purl stitch. In the purl row, if we knit through the front loop, a hole forms. If we knit through the back loop, an additional twisted stitch appears. We see a new braid, an increase has occurred. The second type of yarn over, reverse. Let's make 2 yarn overs at the beginning and end of our knit row just the same. Here the yarn overs differ slightly from the previous ones. Here we will already be bringing the yarn to the right needle away from ourselves like this. The right needle goes away from us, while the yarn comes towards us. We have cast on, then we will knit regular knits. At the end, we will make a second yarn over the same way. Here, we will do the second yarn over as well, meaning the needle goes away from us, while the yarn over comes towards us. This type of yarn over is called away from oneself. Next, we will knit to the finish, turn the work. Our next row is a purl. Let's try to knit our yarn overs through the front and back loops. We reach our yarn over, here it is. Let's knit this yarn over through the back loop with a purl stitch. A hole will form. We will knit purls up to our next yarn over and knit this yarn over through the front loop. Here is our yarn over. Let's knit it through the front loop. Now, I will knit several rows so that we can again see how our yarn overs look. Here we immediately see a hole. On this side, a new loop is visible. Here, a crossed and new chain has formed, in this case. With the reverse yarn over, by knitting through the back loop, we create a small hole, and when knitting through the front loop, we produce a crossed stitch. That is to say, in the first case, if we knitted through the back loop, we would form a crossed stitch. And if through the front, then the hole appears here instead. The third type of yarn over is double. It can also be triple and so forth. In our next knit row, we will knit 2 double yarn overs. Here, we will make a double yarn over. How do we do it? You can make reverse or direct yarn overs. Which do you prefer? I will make a double direct yarn over. That is, my right needle comes towards me. The yarn is wrapped twice around the needle comes towards me. A double direct yarn over. If a triple is needed, wrap 3 times around the needle. I have wrapped twice, making a double direct yarn over. So, that's our first option. Next, I will knit the stitches. At the end of the row, I will make the same yarn over, also direct. Here we will make a double yarn over. This means wrapping twice around the needle. The yarn sits against me. Next, I will knit according to the pattern. For me, these are knitted stitches. We turn the work. We knit purl stitches until we reach our double yarn over. There is our double yarn over. This yarn over can be knitted in various ways. You can knit one stitch as a knit and the other as a purl. You can knit a regular purl and a crossed purl. You can knit one stitch and drop the other to make the hole even bigger. For this yarn over, let's knit the first stitch as a purl and the second as a knit. I have it here for the back loop. Next, we knit according to the pattern. That is, I have it as purl stitches in the grandmother style. Let's knit to our next double yarn over. Here is the next double yarn over. Let's knit it as a classical purl and the next stitch as a twisted purl. That is, through the back loop, through the front, and back again. Next, I will knit a few rows. Again, for clarity, we can see that we have holes in 2 cases. The only difference is that here we have a knit stitch over the hole, while here it is a purl. Well, you need to experiment. See which method you need for which case. Let's try to make another double yarn over. That is, with the slipping of 1 stitch. Let's do it. Let's make a double yarn over in the middle of this knit row. I will make the same direct yarn over. Let's do 2 wraps here. A double yarn over, and in the next row, we will see how to knit this case. In the next row, we will knit 1 stitch and drop the second. This is 2. Make our hole a bit larger. Here is our double yarn over. Let's knit the first stitch as a purl through the front loop, and just drop the second stitch. Next, we knit the polzuru with purl stitches. I will knit a couple more rows and again, we will look at the result. Let's take a look. Here is our hole. It is quite large, larger than our previous ones. Since we dropped 1 stitch, we thereby increase the size of our hole. There can be more options here, please. Think, experiment, and adapt to your knitting, slipping a stitch. This method is often used to create a large lace. The lesson is lengthy and extensive, but I think you understood everything. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. And see you in the next session. Goodbye.